The Toronto Raptors have made a sneaky good signing that was formerly a defensive player of the year. Lost in all of the Masai Ujiri shuffle over the past couple of days, the Raptors quietly made a really nice move following this year's NBA draft, and it has been confirmed by Shams Charania that he will be on the team next season. So it's not just a summer signing. Of course, things could change, but right now he is under contract going into next year. So we're going to break down who this guy is, what impact he can have out there on this Toronto Raptors team, and just the overall direction that this new era of Toronto Raptors basketball is really moving in. So much to break down right now for this Toronto Raptors team. We don't have a president of basketball operations. We have trade rumors going on left, right, and center, and a bunch of signings have happened. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you don't want to miss a single thing that's going on with this team. Broke over 38,000 subscribers. We're on that road to 40K. So make sure you join the community if you don't want to miss a single thing that's going on here right now. But let's dive into it, because this is a signing that got overlooked over the past couple of days, and I really want to sink our teeth into it. As Shams came out and said that Chucky Hepburn, the ACC Defensive Player of the Year, has agreed to a two-way NBA contract with the Toronto Raptors. Sources tell ESPN. So this is very intriguing because, of course, over the summer, we are going to see a lot of names get involved. The Raptors, the Summer League team, all this different type of stuff as it happens every single season. But there's a couple guys that usually get signed this time of year that we know are going to be on the team and on a two-way contract moving forward. Usually they're drafted in the second round, same way with Oler Shamshe, he was drafted in the second round and ended up getting a 2-year, two-way contract. But Chucky Hepburn was undrafted by the Raptors and any NBA team and immediately signed with the Raptors post-draft. The same way, we've seen guys go undrafted, make the team in years past. Fred VanVleet being the most notable. But who the heck is this guy? Why should we be interested? Why is this a good signing for the Toronto Raptors? Well, it keeps the theme with the picks that have been made this offseason, and it's this dude is a dog defensively, and he's able to knock down the three-point shot. So taking a look at who he is, over the course of his college career, played for Wisconsin for 3 seasons, and then had a breakout year with Louisville this year, averaging 16.4 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, 6 assists per night with the ball in his hands, and you can see it there, 2.4 steals per game. Very, very interesting. Shot 84% from the free throw line, which is a really good indicator in terms of development. His free throw shooting improved every single season he was in college. And even though the three-point shooting did vary throughout the different seasons, he shot 33% from the three-point line last year on close to 6 attempts per game. So not the most perfect three-point shooting percentages. Looking at what some Louisville fans have said about his game, there's some actual context as to why that three-point shooting percentage might not be as indicative of how good of a three-point shooter he is. But overall, he's a guard that is 6'2", so he's plays the guard position, bit of a combo guard out there, and he's a really good passer, good defender, and while a little bit undersized, just has that dog in him. The same way the Raptors, went out with Elijah Martin in the second round, the same way that we have Jamal Shead in last year's NBA draft. The Raptors are really leaning into this archetype of really intense, focused, locked-in defenders. And Chucky Hepburn is a guy that completely fits the mold of what the Toronto Raptors are trying to do. And frankly, I'm a big fan of this selection or of this signing for this team on a two-way contract. You want these guys that are poised, that can really lock on defense, and had a successful season for Louisville last year. So what are people saying? What are the strengths and weaknesses of Chucky Hepburn? Well, firstly, we start with the positives. He's a poised, mature floor general. So he can run the team. He can command it. You can see it in terms of his 6 assists per night. He's a guy that, in his 4 years of college, really developed into a playmaker that is going to be effective out there at the NBA level and just being a leader out there on the basketball court. That's one of his biggest strengths. He can make good decisions out there in the pick and roll, running that style of offense all throughout college, and he's a tough on-ball defender with quick hands, and that was reflected in him being the Defensive Player of the Year out there for the ACC this most recent season. So that's important, and then, of course, you see it again. Right, high IQ and vocal leader. This guy is one of those floor generals that can come in, command your team, run everything that's on the go, and that's the type of guy that the Raptors archetype. Again, we'll see what the Raptors' identity is right now, but for the past couple seasons, that's what the Raptors have really been leaning into, and for Masai's entire tenure, looking to get high-quality players, high-quality people out there in your system, and Chucky Hepburn fits that mold. Now, we'll see once we hire a new president of basketball operations, that ends up being the case. Of course, we hope it's Bobby Webster, so, some of the, things have been successful for the Toronto Raptors in years past will continue, but Chucky Hepburn fits the mold of what we hope a Toronto Raptor would be. But, of course, he's not the perfect player by any stretch, or else he would have been drafted, and there are some weaknesses to his game. So he's undersized, of course, and he doesn't have insane athleticism. Is a little bit different than Elijah Martin, who, even though he's undersized, he has a crazy long wingspan and is just a freak athlete. So there is some differences there. Of course, struggles finishing over length, even though he is a very good scorer. He's an inconsistent three-point shooter, but Louisville fans did talk about a few things in regards to what's going on with that, so we'll dive into all that there. And even though he's a great playmaker, he's not creating a ton of shots, and that's paired alongside his finishing. So he's a guy that can come in, out there on this team, especially as a two-way guy. If he can develop his ability to slash, finishing around the rim, get a bit more, burst strength on him, then there's a real avenue for him to become a legit NBA guy. But, of course, there are some weaknesses to his game, so there are things that need to develop. But high character, high IQ, can knock down the three-point shot, and is a really, really solid playmaker. So that's a guy that is an archetype of someone that would excite me coming into the Toronto Raptors. Again, I love these types of dudes. But what else? What are people saying about him that are watching college basketball and stuff like that? So essentially, as a Louisville fan who watched every game of the season, I'm surprised he got zero buzz to go as a second-round pick. He definitely showed flashes of being a microwave scorer and a great passer all season long. I do think he will struggle to find his place offensively in the NBA, and he wants to stick to have a lengthy career and will need a consistent jumper. So on defense, I have no concerns. He's elite on that end of the floor and was the driver of our good defensive system all season long. So a Jose Alvarado career is definitely what he should be aiming for, and I think he has a good chance to achieve it. So, of course, if you can land Jose Alvarado with your two-way contract, after the NBA draft, that is a very, very nice selection for this team. Of course, that's just a comparable. Jose Alvarado is one of the better success stories of the past few seasons, in terms of a late drafted, undrafted guy, but another one in terms of the context of him being a poor three-point shooter, specifically his percentages, as he had a good shot until he turned into chucking Hepburn by the month of March. He really needed to showcase an ability to get the perimeter shot going consistently to garner significant interest. But he does have an intriguing game. He can drive the basket, getting contact at the rim, peeling out for the mid-range jump shots. He's a quick decision-making and the quick decision-making was crucial to get Louisville. Perimeter looks feasted for majority of the season. But it is difficult to see a world where his utilization of those techniques, of course, translates, which makes sense. Of course, a guy that's on a two-way contract isn't going to be coming in and getting lead ball handling roles when you have Immanuel Quickley, when you have Jamal Shead, and you even have Elijah Martin here now at this point that are going to be out there on the roster ahead of him in the pecking order. So, of course, injuries happen. Of course, we've seen the Raptors, deal with depth and try to needing options to, have in the back of their bench. So I think it's an intriguing player. I think it's a guy worth taking a risk on with a two-way contract. High character, great defender, solid three-point shooter when he's not chucking, and a guy that has some high defensive upside and is mature a little bit, right? Is fitting the timeline of the IQ Scottie Barnes rather than, a guy that's just a rookie coming in that's 18 years old, and we'll see what goes. So let me know what you guys think about this signing. Are you happy with this as a two-way selection? I'm excited to see him watch him play out there in this year's Summer League. Want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. You guys are the best. I'm signing out. Cheers.